Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by the MyTV Choice app. Go get rid of commercials during March Madness by downloading the app at mytvchoice.com. I am your host Tom Downey. We got a little bit of rumors and news, brief version of the show for you guys today. We'll start things off with DeMarcus Lawrence. We got Ian Rappaport coming in with the breaking news that DeMarcus Lawrence needs labrum surgery, which you guys all already knew. Super old news there, but we'll recap it here in case you guys missed it. But you guys are smart fans. I know you guys are already aware. Now, Lawrence does need shoulder surgery, and he's not going to get it until he gets that new deal. It's kind of a leverage chip for DeMarcus Lawrence, one that I'm not really a huge fan of. Just get the surgery. Doesn't matter when. And now you've kind of put yourself on a ticking clock here if you're Lawrence and the Cowboys. It's a 3 to 4 month recovery window for that torn labrum, which he's played through the past 2 years, and he's been fantastic. There's always some risk of surgery, but I'm not really concerned about him bouncing back. I do worry about when he bounces back, though. 3 to 4 month recovery window. Let's get that deal done sooner than later so you don't run the risk of him missing games, let alone some potentiality of missing out on some practices and offseason works. Now, the Cowboys and DeMarcus Lawrence likely $2 to $3 million apart right now in terms of their discussions. The Cowboys reportedly have offered him a $20 million deal, which is like the minimum. That's always been the minimum because he's going to make $20.56 on the franchise tag this year. That's kind of the baseline of where the contracts start. They reportedly offered him $17 to start, which is kind of a slap in the face. That doesn't make any sense for the Cowboys to even try to get that by with DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, that was similar to the Olivier Vernon contract, but remember, percentage of the cap makes a lot more sense. So don't start at around 10.9, or don't start at $17 million. Start closer to 11% of the cap. That makes a little bit more sense. Now, the whole negotiation has been weird from the way it's leaked out in the media. It's been leaked that it started at 20, then DeMarcus Lawrence went up to 22.5, which kind of the higher end, and then it went up to 23 plus the very next day. It's all very weird to me. I don't think we actually got things in the order of the way the negotiations have gone, because the order says Tank went 20, 22.5, 23.5. Kind of think that he went 23.2, and then maybe he's down right now in more of the 22.5 range, but he definitely wants to get paid, and that really shouldn't be a big surprise to anyone. He had the breakout year last season, then played on the franchise tag, and played really, really well. So what should the Cowboys do with DeMarcus Lawrence? Type P for pay him, T for trade, or D if you just want to dump the guy. Now, I want to pay him. I think I've made that very clear on the show. But if we get to 2 weeks from now and we're up to, against the edge of the NFL draft and you're not going to get a long-term deal done with DeMarcus Lawrence, it might just be best to trade him. Because the absolute worst thing you can do if you're the Dallas Cowboys, because number one, you've botched it so far. If you didn't botch it, you would have had him worked out or you'd be really, really close right now. You haven't handled things the way you should. Neither has DeMarcus Lawrence. There's blame to be had on both sides here. But if you get to April 10th and you haven't worked out a deal with DeMarcus Lawrence, what's your game plan? Are you going to be able to trade him at that point? Because the worst thing you can do is just rescind the franchise tag or not pay him and then get a third-round comp pick back next year. The Cowboys are better off if Tank is on a long-term deal in terms of winning this year in 2020. But the middle ground is you get a nice draft pick back for him. You're not going to be better off in 2019, but you'll be a better team long-term, potentially, than if you get a third-round comp pick. That's not going to help you out in the long run. Now, folks, as we've mentioned before, we need a new Zero Stars on the show. So we grabbed some of your best ideas and ran the poll on our community tab. In third place was the IQ of the Eagles fans at 22%. Second place, my personal vote, was the number of games Jason Garrett has gone without clapping. That took home 25% of the vote. And then by a pretty significant margin, what should be the new Zero Stars? The number of Carson Wentz playoff games. 42% of you voted for that one. So that is our new Zero Stars. Congratulations to those of you who voted for it. Tom Downey's a ladies' man had 3% of the vote. I'm surprised it got that much. Number of times Zeke should have been suspended got 9% of the vote as well. But Carson Wentz's playoff games is the new Zero Stars. Now, historically, 0 stars has been our curse. That's been the one that's always come true afterward. So if Carson Wentz wins a playoff game, I blame you 42% only. It is all your guys' fault. I kid, of course. We'll move to some more Cowboys updates for you guys. How about Byron Jones' hip surgery? Now, he underwent surgery the past week. It's been described as more of a cleanup procedure for Byron and the Cowboys. Now, it kind of bothered him down the stretch last year, and I'm not going to panic about it yet by any means, but it's certainly something to monitor, and it could have helped explain why Jones, who was fantastic for the first 3 quarters of the season, was kind of more average down the stretch. Now, it kind of bothered me. He hoped that rest and time would make it better. It wasn't happening, so he underwent it now, unlike DeMarcus Lawrence, so he didn't run the risk of missing games during the season. The hope is he's going to be good to go for training camp, kind of more of a let's wait and see how that's actually going right now. But I do think you'll see Byron Jones good to go. I'm not panicking yet by any means on the surgery. I think he's going to be good to go as your cornerback 1. But remember, for the draft purposes, got to find some more cornerback depth for the long term. Because Byron, Cheeto, Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, they can't all be there forever. And Chris Richard has spent plenty of time investigating long, lanky, and fast corners that fit his mold. Now, how worried are you guys about Byron Jones' surgery? Give me a grade on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you're not panicking at all. 10 meaning you're freaking out and you want a new cornerback right now because Byron's never going to play again. I'm kind of more in the 2 to 3 range. Check back in with me around July or August and we'll see how he's doing, but I'm not going to panic about it yet by any means. Now, today's show is brought to you guys by the MyTV Choice app. Get rid of commercials during March Madness by downloading the app at mytvchoice.com. You can have great chat sports content sent right to your TV because the app knows when a commercial comes on. All you got to do, download the app at mytvchoice.com. One last item for you guys today. The Cowboys have not had contract talks with Dak Prescott or Amari Cooper, per the report from Clarence Hill, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And this kind of makes some sense, right? There isn't the same urgency that exists for Dak and Amari that does for DeMarcus Lawrence. And oh, by the way, if the Cowboys signed Dak or Amari before they got a deal done with DeMarcus Lawrence, I don't think Tank and his agent would like that very much. I don't think that would go over very well. Now, even though there haven't been contract talks yet, that doesn't mean that both sides don't know what the rough outlook of the contract is going to look like. Dak's going to get paid a lot, and so is Amari Cooper. We went over our Dak projection earlier this year. I'm not going to change it yet. Now, maybe it becomes like 6 years or even more years, but this is about what the going rate for a franchise quarterback is. Now, before you guys freak out over the sticker shock involved, and I know not everyone thinks Dak is worth $20 million, let alone $29, $28 million. Remember, with the way Dak's contract is set up, and he's so cheap this coming year, 2019, it doesn't really become a $29 million deal. It's almost more along the lines of a $24 million deal because you can space out the money overall with this year because you're making next to nothing next season. And oh, by the way, most importantly, in 2 years, when all the quarterbacks get paid again, it's going to look like a bit of a steal, assuming Dak continues to play like he has so far. So would you guys pay Dak Prescott $29 million per year? Why for yes and for no? I know that's a lot of sticker shock, but that is what the market dictates these days. And speaking of receivers, Amari Cooper, who will at some point soon have an NFL.com photo of him in a Cowboys jersey. Can't wait. No more of the Oakland photos for him. But for Amari, he's going to get paid too, and I think rightfully so. I feel very comfortable handing out a big-time contract to Amari Cooper. Heck, maybe even more so than anyone on the Cowboys coming up. Byron, Dak, Tank, and Zeke Elliott. I might feel the most confident right now in Amari Cooper. It's going to be a lot of guaranteed money, and it's probably going to come in at $16+ million. I mean, why would Amari settle for less than Mike Evans, Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins got when those deals were signed several years ago? So for the Cowboys, this is the nature of being a good football team and being a playoff football team with young, talented players. They all want to get paid. And although the salary cap doesn't exist on a micro scale, it does exist on a macro scale. You can't pay every single player. You can pay any one individual guy, but when it all adds up, that's a little bit too much in the end. So would you guys pay Amari Cooper $17 million per year? For me, I'm typing an A for Amari. It's a yes, but let me know if you guys disagree in the comments section. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.